Peace, family. This is Tariq. Welcome back again for another day, another episode of Knowledge Corner, Car Edition. All right, today's insight of the day. I am a new man. Song of the day, Spell by Blue Magic. This is off of their self-titled debut album that was released on January 9th of 1974. Heard of Blue Magic before, but over the last maybe 4 or 5 years, like Blue Magic has probably become one of my favorite, R&B groups of the 70s. A lot of their music has resonated with me in such a way it's crazy, especially their debut album. There are going to be a lot of songs from that album that I actually end up doing videos for. But this particular song, Spell, is about a woman, putting a spell, putting her womanly ways, on one of the members of the group, and she put a spell on his mind. But when I was doing my research for this video, I was told that's not the route that I need to go. There was always one part of the song that resonated with me more than any other part of the song. And it's when they say, "You made a new man of me, now I feel heavenly for you." And that got me thinking that once you get to a point in your spiritual journey, you're no longer the person that you once used to be. You become a new person. In my case, I became a new man. Yes, the outer looks the same, but the inner part of me is totally different. Why? Because I've worked on myself to get to a point to where I am a new man. When you do that, there are things that you used to do you no longer do. There are people that you used to hang out with that you no longer hang out with. That's inevitable. But what God always does, he always replaces what you lost with something new. And those people and places and things that have come into your life that are new are going to be 1,000 times better than what you previously had. Romans chapter 12, verse 2. Do not be confronted to this age, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you may discern what is good, pleasing, and perfect will of God. Again, becoming a new man, you're renewing your mind so that you can be discerning. That is a key word. When you have a breakthrough and when you are higher in your journey, your discernment should increase. That is one thing that I pray for every night before I go to bed. I always pray to God, please strengthen my discernment. I need to know what I'm doing is the correct thing. I want to know the people that I'm talking with or the things that I want to do. I need to be able to discern those things. So I pray for that. I want to please God. And the only way I can do that is by following his command, by doing what he asks, tells me to do, which is another reason why I totally asked what I was supposed to do for this video and went a totally different way. Surah Al-Furqan, which translates to the criterion in the Quran. This is the 25th surah. This is the 70th verse or ayat of this book. Unless he repents, believes, and work righteous deeds, for Allah will change the evil of such persons into good, and Allah is all-forgiving, most merciful. Again, that goes into what I've been saying, becoming a new man. How do you do that? One, by repenting. You have to repent to God for all the sins that you've done before. We're not perfect. There's probably going to be instances and chances in our life now that we're going to sin again, but you're aware of what you do. And even if you're not aware of what you do, you have the foresight to know that you're going to have to repent for those things. There are things that I've done in my past that I'm not proud of. I'm actually ashamed that I've actually done. And I've repented for those things. Am I going to do those things again? Of course not, because I know that I'm not supposed to do those things. But for a person who doesn't know that what they're doing is wrong, when you get to a certain place in your spiritual journey, you understand the things that you did in your past weren't the best things to do. So you're no longer going to do them, and you're going to repent for them. So you made a new man or woman of yourself. Now you feel heavenly. Now you feel at peace. Now you feel that freedom that you're supposed to have because you did what you were supposed to do. So what does being a new person, what does being a new man, a new woman, what does that look like for you? How are you going to move in this new life that God is creating for you? That's a question that you have to ask yourself. So, not really going to speak too much today. This is going to be a long weekend for me. This is, I have my daughters, this weekend. I'm back home. But this is also the weekend of my high school reunion. So I'm going to be kind of on daddy duty throughout the weekend, but I'm also going to be, involved in a lot of stuff, with, my friends, from high school. I know that there are a lot of people that I've spoken to that I went to high school with that those years for them were years that they try not to think of, which for me is, I can't relate because a lot of my high school life was some of the best years of my life. But I understand that some people don't feel that way. And I have to understand that. So there may be people that I want to see that I'm not going to be able to see because, they don't want to be around. And that's okay. I still got love for them. But it's going to be an interesting weekend, to say the least. I'm totally looking forward to it. So everyone be blessed, have a good weekend. Excuse me. And as always, like, comment, share, subscribe, and positive energy activates constant elevation. Peace.